passionate about both, and we decided to give Kate Pointer a chance to speak to you. She will be presenting about the new techniques in archaeological technology. So please welcome Kate Pointer.
Those are some hard acts. New techniques in archaeological technology. Hi, my name is Kate Pointer, and I want to thank the RC Board and Ms. Kershaw for asking me to speak with you today. I am 10 years old, and I live in Dana Point, California. I go to San Juan Elementary School, which is a Spanish immersion school, which means I am fluent in English and Spanish. My school is the oldest school site in Orange County and is across the street from Mission San Juan Capistrano. I want to learn more languages such as Mandarin and Arabic in the future. And I love archaeology, especially cyber archaeology. When I was 5, I saw Treasure Buddies. It was set in Egypt and I loved it. Then I saw Indiana Jones, and that's when I knew I wanted to be an archaeologist. I love documentaries about Egypt and archaeology. My parents saw my interest and took me to museums and lectures. Then we found RCOC, and I've been a member for 3 years. This is where I met Dr. Zai Hawass, along with other cool archaeologists. I dream of getting my doctorate as a cyber archaeologist. Types of technologies. Here are the types of technologies that interest me. There are satellites, GPR, which is ground penetrating radar, LiDAR, which is light detection and ranging, CT scan, which is computerized axial tomography, 3D modeling, and DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. These technologies are helping archaeologists find and learn more around the world. It is so much more than just digging. Satellites. Dr. Parkak is awesome. She is my cyber idol. Dr. Parkak is an Egyptologist that works with satellites and other technologies. She won the 2016 TED Talk Award for crowdsourced archaeology using Global Explorer. She has used technology to locate new sites in Egypt and around the world. Pictures from satellites orbiting the Earth are used to see details that cannot be seen from the ground or just above it. Dr. Parkak assisted in the discovery of Tanis. The 3,000-year-old city could not be seen with the naked eye. Approximately 80% of what the satellite showed matched what was excavated. Dr. Parkak and her team also found 17 pyramids, more than 1,000 tombs, and more than 3,000 ancient settlements. All this using satellite technology. So cool. GPR, ground penetrating radar. The way GPR works is that it uses radar pulses to image the subsurface of an object. It looks like a lawnmower. It is dragged back and forth over a site in a grid pattern. An electromagnetic pulse is aimed at the ground, and what is returned is a reflection of that pulse. If the reflection is long, the object is deep. If short, the object is shallow. If GPR shows an area that is out of the ordinary or different, that would indicate a good place to dig. This technology has helped find grand chambers, enormous statues, and underground waterways. GPR can map sites without being destructive, such as sacred sites. GPR has been used at Giza, Egypt since 1978, or 38 years. GPR has helped find civilizations 15,000 years old, several levels below the Giza Plateau. LiDAR, light detection and ranging. LiDAR is very similar to radar, but uses light pulses instead of radio waves. It takes pictures in 3 dimensions. It can be used in the air or on the ground. It came into use during the 1960s. It makes a map of where the images were taken. It is best known to be able to see through the jungle canopy in Central and South America. The discovery of City the Monkey God in Honduras used LiDAR in 2012. The survey showed man-made structures that cannot be seen with regular photography. This rare site is untouched, but threatened by deforestation. CT scan, computerized axial tomography. Have you ever had to do a CT scan? It's the same thing, just with mummies and other artifacts. We could see what's inside without disturbing the artifact. We can learn how someone died or was hurt. Medical scans using hundreds of images of the artifact like a virtual autopsy. Scans of mummies, canopic jars, and other artifacts show what's inside without harming it. Detailed images of King Tut showed foot problems, a dent in his skull, broken bones, and other medical issues. Most every archaeologist that studies mummies uses this technology. It gives mummies preserves and honors the dead by not disturbing the body. We must remember that these were people and still are. 3D modeling. There's printing, imaging, and mapping. Utsi, the 5,300-year-old ice mummy, was reproduced on a 3D printer so it's placed in museums around the world. High-resolution photos can be taken of a site or artifact, then replicated to preserve the original. At UCSD Cyber Lab, I saw a presentation where a temple was in a cave. It was mapped so everyone can see it because the site was so unstable and had to be closed up. Researchers around the world can see artifacts that are too fragile, too far away, or have since been destroyed, such as in Syria. DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. DNA helps archaeologists find mummies that may be related to each other or have the same disease. Also help find how people lived. Analysis of clothing can show what animals were used and where they came from, like on Utsi, the ice mummy. Testing plaque on teeth can show what was eaten. Dr. Hawass uses this technology in his research. 2 fetuses were found in King Tut's tomb, thought to be his premature or stillborn daughters. Artifact 317A and 317B. DNA test on fetus 317B found to be a 99.9% match to King Tut. 317A test came back inconclusive because of the deterioration of the mummy, but is most likely King Tut's daughter. To conclude, technology is changing the way we look at archaeology. It has and will improve the way we search. Lets us look at artifacts we may never see in person. Lets us share research around the world and have a better understanding of the human race. Over my generation, many new technologies have assisted archaeologists in their research. Computers have changed the way we look for and catalog our research. These amazing technologies happen in your lifetime. Can't wait to find out what happens in mine. Thank you. Any questions?
Was the LiDAR done with the drones over the jungle?
It was actually done with, I don't know if it was drones, but
What
it was.
was the question, please?
Was the LiDAR used with drones? I'm actually not sure, but I know that they use helicopters. And LiDAR is very cool because it can't really see through leaves, like from the trees, but it can see through the little peaks of sunlight through the trees. That's how they could tell that there were man-made structures there.
Have they ever combined these technologies, such as using some of these things combined with 3D printing to reproduce something that's buried, let's say, 10 feet underground or something, and create an equivalent of a statue of it using a 3D printer?
They could do that where.
What's the question?
Oh,
It says on the stage.
Combining the technologies of being able to penetrate, let's say, the earth, to find out when, let's say, you get a different reflection, and combining that with 3D printing, or digital sculpturing is kind of what it is, to create images of objects buried underground without having to excavate them at all. In other words, to make a model of something that's buried without excavating it.
So combining the technologies, like we could use, like since the jungle is too hard to get through or maybe too dangerous, we can use LiDAR to find out what structures are there, and since it takes the 3D picture, then we can key those pictures and pinpoints to the 3D printer, and it can print out it for museums if they want to do a exhibition about the or something like that. So yes, they can combine the technologies and data from one technology to another.
If it helps any, LiDAR is done by scanning an image with laser lights. They illuminate it with lasers, scan it with cameras, and that's how they get the image for LiDAR.
Lucas?
Have they used sonar to locate objects?
Have they used sonar?
Side scanning radar.
Probably, like, I'm not sure, but
Probably underwater.
probably underwater, because like whales use sonar underwater. So maybe, I'm actually not very sure if they use sonar.
Yeah.
So the question was, do you know of any universities that are opening up parts of their for archaeology with these technologies? Yes, at UCSD, where they had the AIA thing, that's from the Cyber Lab, and they had like these ginormous drones and like bigger than the size of the podium, and then they had presentations, and so now that it's becoming more interactive with archaeology, more universities are probably going to open up cyber labs for cyber archaeology.
Are you known by any special nickname at school for your passion for archaeology?
Do I have a nickname? No, but sometimes randomly during recess, I would be just playing handball or something, and someone will ask like, "How long does it take to salt mummies?" I'm like, "You do the research yourself, but I
Would you like to discover more about Cleopatra's underwater palace and tomb?
Will I like to discover more about Cleopatra? Yes. Been wanting to discover more about Cleopatra since I was very little. So now with this technology, we can take the technology and the data from the underwater stuff and see if she actually has a tomb on the ground, like if it was not in Alexandria and underwater.
Have you ever been to Egypt?
No, I've actually never left the country. Ever. But I've studied a lot about China and the archaeology there, Egypt, Syria, Iran, and Nubia. I'm very interested in Nubia, how Egypt got gold and stuff for Nubia, and I'm really interested about archaeology around the world, but I've never actually been around the world.
You will. How did I meet Dr. Hawass? He actually did lectures here, and I got to meet him then, and I actually we email each other sometimes. It's pen pal-ish thing, and he's actually was in Australia, so he couldn't come. He wanted to come, and so I've met him twice actually, and it's very awesome. He's very awesome.
You don't know something like this.